Welcome back to Narrative Nook Cafe. I'm glad you could join me today. Grab your drink, get comfortable, and let me tell you a story. My name is Kevin, and I've always been a passive man. Not weak, not unaware, just careful and nurturing. Growing up, it was just me and my mom. My father was a ghost, never loud enough to hate, never present enough to miss. But the last man my mother dated, I remember him clearly. 2 years, that's all it took. He wasn't violent every day. That's what made it confusing. One day he was nice and would take me to my classmates' birthday parties or take me and my mom on family outings. The next day, he would be angry that my mom hugged me before I went to school. At first, he would do things like turn off the hot water heater or take the light bulbs out of the only bathroom on the house and hide them. Then it turned physical. Never towards me, although it would sometimes be because of me. He only attacked her. So I learned to be good and stay quiet. He controlled the temperature of the room, the tone, her voice, her body. I was 10 when she left him, packed our things in silence, and afterward, she told me something I never forgot. Power doesn't always look like yelling. Sometimes it looks like making someone doubt their own reality. We never saw him again, and she never dated again. It was just her and I against the world. She raised me gently, deliberately. She taught me how to regulate, how to step back instead of escalating, how to leave instead of strike. This worked for me, and I thrived because in a world where men choose to hunt and hurt, I was a breath of fresh air for everyone around me. I was unknowingly raised to be a walking, breathing safe space, or so I've been told by many. My demeanor isn't without its shortfalls, as I now know that opposites attract. But it's not about what you attract, it's about what you accept that can change the trajectory of your life. I was in my junior year of college. It was an off-campus party. Well, it was more of a kickback. Just a few friends and friends of friends gathering for no reason, drinking, talking, and dancing. There was maybe 15 people in this 2-bedroom apartment. I still don't know whose house it was because I was invited by my friend Todd, who had heard from another friend. He thought that I needed to get out more. I had focused so much on my studies that I completely forgot about the social aspect of college and the life lessons therein. I'm not a nerd, I just wanted to be great. My mom sacrificed her life metaphorically so that I could, and I didn't want that sacrifice to be fruitless. But going out every now and then wouldn't jeopardize what I was trying to do, so I agreed to go. When I got there, it's just a normal gathering of people whose frontal lobe haven't fully developed, but are aware of their future. So not tamed, but not wild either. Music was going, and drinks were flowing. Some people danced, while others stood in the kitchen debating who was the real unsung hero in the fight for civil rights. I tried to be nosy to see what they said, but I just got my drink and went to the living room to chill and watch people dance. That's when I saw her. She was one of the most beautiful women I had ever seen. She was sitting on the couch, beautiful brown skin, the color of a Hershey bar. I scanned her from head to toe. She had a messy bun, dark brown almond eyes, hoop earring, gold necklace, a black bomber jacket with a tight white camisole, blue jeans, and black boots. She looked effortlessly beautiful. I could tell she had on makeup, but I could still see her true beauty. I wanted to approach her, but I wasn't sure. I didn't want to start something I couldn't finish. I wasn't sure if I could focus on her and my studies, so I decided not to approach. That was until I noticed her smile. One of her friends said something to her, and she smiled and let out a little. She didn't know it, but that's what sealed the deal for me. I had to find out who she was. So I approached her. We conversed for hours, started dating, and 3 years later, we were married. I saw red flags, but I thought they were just the obstacles that come with being in a relationship. I had never seen a healthy relationship, so I went into the relationship with theories of how things should be. I love her. Give her what she wants. Make her life easier. And she does the same in return. Adjust if she voiced that she didn't like something, or compromise if the request wasn't something I completely agree with. In retrospect, she was mean quite often, silently vindictive, unreasonable. I gave, and she had no problem taking. We never were really on the same page when it came to the big things, like kids. I wanted to be the dad I didn't really have, and she didn't want kids because she didn't want to be fat and unattractive. I didn't let that give me pause, because my mother taught me to always be considerate, compassionate, kind, tender toward her. So that's what it did, hoping she would change her mind, hoping things would get better, that she would eventually love me the same way I love her. So when I got married, I thought tenderness was enough. For 6 years, it was. It was tolerable. Or so I thought. But then my mother died, and the life I had that was once filled with vibrant colors of love and hope slowly faded to shades of gray. Grief didn't hit me like a wave. It was gradual. I was in denial for a while. I cried, but I didn't fully believe that this was my life until the grief settled. It was heavy. Mornings were the worst. I felt like I was shackled to my bed by chains anchored in wet cement, and when I found the strength to move, the air disappeared, and it was hard to breathe and painful to think. I still went to work. I had a great job in a marketing firm, making more money than I ever dreamed of. I loved it, and the love I had for my work showed in my salary. But suddenly, joy felt muted. I still showed up, but it was like the world had turned its volume down. I told my wife I thought I needed help. She told me I was fine. "You're just sad," she said. "Stop making it bigger than it is." I tried. I really did. But I stopped sleeping because the thought of my current reality raced through my mind anytime I closed my eyes. Started gaining weight because food was my only comfort, since the person who brought me real comfort is gone. Missed deadlines because I couldn't focus. Lost the job that paid for our comfort. That's when her love changed tone. It's like she started hating me. She stopped touching me, stopped asking how I felt, started criticizing how I looked, how slow I moved, how quiet I'd become. "You're not even trying anymore," she said. 6 months after my mom passed, I realized something that scared me. My grief was inconvenient to her, especially since it affected the money. One of the fellas suggested a guy's trip. We go on a trip to the NBA All-Star game. I thought time away might help, so I agreed. But as when I got to the airport, I sat in my car for 2 hours. I couldn't find the strength to go. I knew that trip wasn't going to help. So I decided to go home instead. It was an hour drive from the airport to my house, and on my way home, I decided to stop by the grocery store to pick up things we didn't really need. I just wanted to be around something that's familiar. Same aisles, same cashier and shoppers, same quiet Sunday afternoons. That's where I found out. I was standing in produce, comparing and overanalyzing avocados. Too soft, too hard, none of them right. That's when I heard my name. It was a woman from the neighborhood who also worked at the store. Friendly, familiar, not close enough to lie to. "Hey," she said. "How are you?" "Good," I said. Then she said, "I'm sorry about your marriage. Separation can be hard." "What? What's wrong with my marriage? We are not separated." The woman paused. She looked scared or embarrassed, like she realized she had spoken out of turn. "Oh, well, you know how rumors go. They travel faster than the truth," she said. My chest tightened, not sure if I could handle the truth of what I was about to ask, but I probed anyway. "You know something. What is it?" The woman said that when she was restocking apples, she saw my wife with some other man. They were holding hands, and she wasn't trying to hide it, so she naturally thought that we were separated. I didn't say anything. I couldn't. I couldn't react because I had no hard evidence, but that conversation followed me through checkout, through the parking lot, all the way home. As I approached my home, there was a car in the driveway I didn't recognize, parked in my parking spot like it belonged there. Inside, I heard laughter. Her laughter, light, unburdened, the kind I hadn't heard in months. She was in the kitchen, half-dressed, hair loose, and a man I see frequently running around the neighborhood sat at the counter like it was his house. I walked in and asked what was going on. He stood up immediately, didn't look at me, grabbed his keys, left. She didn't apologize. She deflected. "You scared him," she snapped. "Why would you just walk in like that?" I stared at her, quiet. "This is why I can't talk to you," she continued. "You make everything uncomfortable. You're always watching, always acting wounded." I didn't raise my voice, didn't argue. I turned and walked toward the bedroom. That's when she followed me, yelling now, accusing, blaming. "You pushed me to this," she said. "If you were a real man, I wouldn't have had to look elsewhere. You're too busy being a victim that you can't even be a man." I started packing a bag. She grabbed my arm, hard, then shoved me. I didn't push back. I just froze. And in that moment, I understood something clearly. If I stayed, I would lose myself trying not to become someone else. So I packed clothes, documents, my mother's jewelry, and I left. Once I was gone, my body told the truth. The depression eased, not instantly, but noticeably. Therapy helped me name it. My grief didn't break me. Living with someone who resented my grief and vulnerability did. Loving someone who never loved me back unless it was advantageous or aligned with tradition was the culprit. She had been my biggest trigger, not my mother's passing. I filed for divorce. I got help, medication, routine, sleep. I started working out, not to punish myself, but to come back to my body. And for the first time in a long time, I felt calm without being afraid of it disappearing. My old job called and offered me my job back after running into one of my old coworkers at the gym. We caught up after over protein smoothies, and I guess he put in a word to the new bosses. They not only called to offer me a job, they offered a promotion. 2 weeks before my divorce was final, my life took an interesting turn. A woman I used to work with named Ava moved back. She was always kind, steady, and respectful. I ran into her when I was walking downtown. We were both just out and walking about with no real destination in mind, so we had time to talk and catch up. No rush, no pressure. We exchanged numbers and talked often after that. I was used to being a safe space, but outside of my mother, I never had a safe space. But Ava was slowly becoming that for me. She didn't ask me to perform healing. She didn't flinch at my honesty. She didn't need me to be impressive. She liked me present. Our love didn't feel urgent. It felt intentional. You know how some people say they fell in love? Well, we walked into it. Slow, warm, safe. I wasn't sure what was happening because I wasn't looking to date anyone. I wanted to give myself time, but one night she invited me out with her and a group of friends. Some friends I knew and a few I didn't. We ate and laughed. It was the most fun I had in years. I wasn't allowed to go out with friends when I was married. If I did, I'd come home to locked doors and the silent treatments that lasted for days. She just never wanted me to enjoy anything. So this night, I felt free. The DJ played a slow jam, and she was sitting there with the most beautiful smile on her face. I asked Ava for a dance. I was usually a wallflower, but like I said, I felt free to live. I asked, she accepted. Something special happened then. It was like I was living out the song Slow Jam by Usher and Monica. Ava lived rent-free in my head after that night. 3 days later, I had a court date to finalize my divorce. My wife didn't pay attention to the divorce documents, too busy with the chaos she chose with that random man I found in my house. She asked for nothing, and legally, she deserved nothing. Still, I gave her the house and $25,000, not because she earned it, because I was done needing her to hurt for me to heal. She cried when she saw me in court, healthier, clear, unreachable. That's when she wanted the marriage back, but I had already left quietly. She tried reaching out to me, leaving voicemail and text messages say that she was sorry and she's miserable without me. She wanted me to come to her rescue, stating that her new boyfriend, whose name is Tony, is controlling. He watches what she eats, she can't have friends or talk to her family, and that he doesn't let her leave the house except with him, but she can figure out a plan to come meet me somewhere so that she can explain everything. She even told me that she might be pregnant by him. The last time she reached out, she said that if she could take everything back, she would, and that her biggest regret is how she treated me. I never replied to any of her text messages or voicemails. I don't need to. She did what she did because she thought she could, and she was right, until she wasn't. I didn't know what my breaking point was. For me, I didn't know a breaking point existed, but I've learned that I do and did have a breaking point, which is also the point of no return for me. My days of pouring into a bottomless cup are over. People think the win is revenge. It's not. The win is peace, sleep, laughter without fear, socializing without shackles. I didn't lose a wife. I lost confusion. And what I gained? A life that fits, a love that moves at my speed. Did I mention that Ava and I are officially dating? We made it official 7 months after my divorce was final. But we are taking things slowly. A calm that doesn't need defending. A calm that I always had. Sometimes there's nothing wrong with us. There's something wrong with the environment in which we choose to be us. You don't need permission to choose peace over familiarity or to let go of people who once mattered. You were not created to be mistreated, neglected, or mishandled. You are the keeper of your mind, will, and emotions. And if someone does not or cannot respect that, you owe it to yourself to respect their inability to respect you by removing them from your life. And there is nothing wrong with you leaving, and there's nothing wrong with you because you had to leave. Your value doesn't change just because someone failed to see it or saw it and failed to cherish it. They can and will survive without you, but you will not survive with them. They will chip away at the best parts of you until you're just as rotten and hollow on the inside as they are. Things get better when you show up for you. Future you is waiting for you. That's today's story from the Narrative Nook Cafe. Was I wrong for leaving the way that I did? Or was silence the strongest move? Let me know in the comments. And if you're going to keep pulling up a chair like this, you might as well subscribe. New stories, new narrators, every time.